The Indian armed forces are fully prepared to defend the frontiers of the country in the Kameng sector in Arunachal Pradesh in case of any eventuality in the wake of China's opposition to building infrastructure in the frontier state. However, lack of adequate infrastructure in the area, particularly road connectivity, is still a disadvantage. Highly placed security sources told the Assam Tribune that the Indian Army personnel and the Indo-Tibetan Border Police men are regularly patrolling the patches along the international border, which are considered vulnerable despite the rough terrain. The 2 battalions of the Arunachal Scouts, comprising local youths, who know the terrain well, are also helpful in keeping a close watch along the border. The Arunachal Scouts, raised in the line of the Ladakh Scouts, are of great help to the forces in patrolling the area as the men of the Scouts are well versed with the terrain and weather condition. In recent times, the number of Chinese incursions along the border in this sector has also come down and no major incident of face-off has been reported from any part. Sources pointed out that the Indian Army strength along the international border has increased considerably over the years. During the 1962 war, the Indian Army was not prepared to face the Chinese, but the situation has changed drastically now. The 4 Corps of the Army is looking after the China border in the Kameng sector and 3 divisions of the Army are deployed for the job. The Air Force striking power has also increased considerably as advanced landing grounds have been prepared and now India has 2 Sukhoi squadrons based at Tezpur and Chabua. Artillery-wise also, India is in a better position now as even Bofors guns have been placed in this part of the country. During the 1962 war, the Indian Army suffered because the men were sent from different parts of the country and they were not acclimatized. But now the situation has totally changed. The Army personnel are properly acclimatized at different heights from the sea level before they are sent to the forward posts, as it is not easy for anyone from the plains to get acclimatized in the heights of the international border in Arunachal Pradesh. In case of any war, proper planning and motivation of the men are key factors. The highly motivated Indian Army men, led from the front by the young officers, won the Kargil War for India. The motivation level of the armed forces is quite high and they can take on any challenge to defend the frontiers of the country, sources added. Sources pointed out that India also raised a Strike Corps to be sent to the international borders whenever necessary, while the personnel of the Special Frontier Force, comprising mostly Tibetans, can also be rushed to the borders whenever required. However, sources admitted that China is still way ahead of India as far as infrastructure is concerned. For quite a long time, the government of India did not create infrastructure along the border apprehending that the enemy may use it. But the policy has now changed and the government of India also started building infrastructure along the border, including roads. The Dola Sadaya Bridge, christened Bhupen Hazarika Setu, opened up a new road towards the border with China, while several other new roads are also coming up. There are very few places along the border through which the Chinese army can try to come inside India because of the natural barriers, and such vulnerable portions are closely monitored, sources added. Though China has been opposing creation of infrastructure by India in Arunachal Pradesh and the Indian forces are prepared to face any eventuality, security sources said, it is very unlikely that China will go for a war like 1962. Any country will thoroughly examine the benefits of a war before launching an attack against any country. The Chinese know very well that the situation has changed a lot since 1962, and if they go for any misadventure, they would also suffer heavy losses. Moreover, at the diplomatic level also, China will face problems worldwide if it attacks India. That is why, India is not apprehending any war with China, but the forces are fully ready to defend the frontiers of the country in case of any eventuality.